It's time for ROTD Weekend. Spring has most definitely sprung here in Florida. I mean, I know that it's not cold here ever, really, but something really changes at this time of year. I start smelling other people's grills and barbecue stuff going on, and I start wanting to do it too. And so I've been doing a ton of grilling lately, and it's been a lot of fun and super delicious. Now, I know I mentioned to you, I think last week on the Saturday show, that I'd been experimenting with smoking chicken breasts on the grill without a smoker, just regular grill. And since then, I've been doing other things. I'm trying to figure out if it's the smoking that makes them so good or if it's just the low heat cooking. And I am becoming convinced that we are all cooking our chicken breasts on the grill incorrectly and that they need to be on there for at least an hour at a low temperature. Like, they are turning out so good. I can't get enough of them. And so I'm going to finish figuring this out for sure. And then I'm going to be doing a side-by-side testing with chicken thighs because, you know, it's just so interesting how different chicken breast and chicken thighs are, right? So what I've been doing for the chicken breast is putting them on a very low grill, like with one element turned on to medium and the other one's off, and then they're on the off side. And they take a good hour, if not longer, for the thickest part to get up to sort of like 150, 155. And they're just so juicy and delicious. Now, what I've been doing with the chicken thighs, though, is just slapping them on the hot grill. I season them first, a little bit of oil. They go right on my grill, like almost as hot as it goes, right over the element that's cranked up. And I do them for about 4 minutes on the first side. Then I flip them and I sauce the top and leave that sauce on there for another few minutes. And then I flip and sauce the other side, flip again. And so they are just on there for like 10 minutes and they are so juicy and delicious. So what I need to do now is do the chicken thighs in this low and slow way, and then do the chicken breast the way that I'm doing the thighs, and then do this 4-way comparison and see if I'm right that the breasts need the low and slow and the thighs need that high searing heat. So that is what I am doing, not so much as part of my like recipe testing for the website. This is what's going on in my backyard while I'm sitting in the hot tub reading my book. As I do, I've got different things happening on the grill that I'm loosely testing to see what's going to be best. And then yes, of course, if I find something really amazing, that will eventually become recipes on the website. But yeah, there's just something in the air, and it is barbecue, right? And it is in the air everywhere that I go. I hope that things have warmed up everywhere that you are and that you are also venturing back into that grilling space. It's just celebratory and cool, right? So I will say, as I record this, I'm actually, yes, getting ready to slow grill some chicken breasts, but I'm also getting ready to leave for Savannah. I leave tomorrow morning for that blogging conference that I've mentioned to you. So I'm heading out to Savannah on my own. It's just like a 4-hour drive from here. So it's going to be an easy, nice day. And then I'm going to be nerding out with other food bloggers. We're going to be talking about great food, eating great food, and learning more about the sort of more back end side of the business, the actual websites and the social media and videos and photography and all of those things that are part of our businesses. So it's really nice when we get together because we learn so much from each other, and it's a very unique career and not very many people know how to do all the things that we do. And yeah, so getting together and putting our brains together and exchanging ideas, it's really, really a beautiful time. And so because I'm heading out like that, I have not had a chance to record a new interview this week, but I'm bringing you something related to that blogging world. And this is a conversation from the past between me and my cousin's husband. So Alix at that time had just changed his career and was going full steam into food blogging. And so we're talking about that and about a very unique recipe that he has to share with me. So Alix is the blogger behind FrenchKissCook.com. You should definitely go and check out his easy, flavorful recipes there. And he's got lots of great ideas on Instagram too. Go and find him, FrenchKiss.cook on Instagram. Okay, now here is my conversation with Alix Loiselle of FrenchKissCook.com. Welcome back, Alix.
Good morning.
I'm so happy to have you back on the show, and things have changed since you were on before. A
little bit.
Yeah, so you've sold the bakeries, and now tell me what you're doing.
Well, I'm just kind of readjusting my whole life of post-bakery owner, and I'm just staying at home and working on food content creating and home renovations pretty much.
I know. So I really want to hear more about how you've turned an entire bedroom into a walk-in closet, but that is a different podcast.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so envious. So you have a new website. What is it?
Yeah, FrenchKissCook.com. So it's like this passion project that I've started like over 10 years ago that I really put on the back burner. And like back then it was a way for me to just track family recipes and recipes that I just did on my own. And now it's becoming almost like my full-time job. So I'm all in.
That's so exciting. And I have to say, like, I'm watching this evolve and it's been really exciting. And I know you're working on your photography and you're working on your videos and the recipes look so good. What would you say is like your philosophy behind the recipes that you're creating?
So as a classically trained baker, baking was my job for so long, and French Kiss Cook is really a way for me to dabble and create into this culinary world that wasn't my job and is something that I had to do on a daily basis to, well, sustain myself. So it's always been something that FrenchKissCook.com was always something that I used to track family recipes and recipes that I made on a daily basis. And now it's more of a way for me to create recipes that I can make easily and conveniently on a daily basis now that I'm like rearranging my whole life around and figuring out what I'm doing next, right? So it's really me making dishes that remind me of my childhood and that I can just easily make and share.
I like that. So no baking. There's no pastry on French Kiss Cook.
Not yet, and probably almost none, but maybe like the dumplings and the chicken and dumpling soup. I mean, that's as much of my baking as I've done on there.
I think that's funny. No, and it's true. We do need to change it. I know you went through with the bakery. I don't know if you want to talk about this very much, but like it was a slog those last few years, right? It was intense. It was hard. The pandemic, everything else.
Yeah, it was 8 years. Well, like the first bit was crazy expansion. Like we opened a second location like after 2 years only, and we were supplying products to half the coffee shops in the city and huge event centers, right? And then the pandemic hit and the whole business like really changed. We had to cater to deliveries, like home deliveries, and just, you know, bringing the bakery down to one location and just hunkering down and getting through it, right? And it was really good and it was really successful, and I'm really not regretting selling the bakery. I feel like after going through the pandemic, it was just so hard and so taxing that it was just time for me to move on to a new project.
Yeah, no, I think that makes so much sense. And it happened to so many of us, right? The pandemic just makes you shift around and think differently about what you want to do. And so you've gone back to this blog of yours. So it doesn't have any of that old content on it though, right? Like you are starting this bright and fresh as a website kind of recipe business. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still have access to like all the old posts, and I've been like looking through them and seeing, you know, if I can share anything that's on there, and maybe I will like one or two of them. But I mean, like it was like one of those like old style of blogs, like it was like a lot of text, no structure, maybe one terrible picture,
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
Like it's not anything that, I'm super proud of, but I mean there is quite a bit of content on there, so it's very nostalgic to go back and look at it. But I really wanted to start fresh and really just create these really great recipes.
I love that. So, do you have a recipe to surprise me with today that you're going to tell me about?
I do, and I actually made it last night and it was absolutely delicious, and we ate the whole thing. And it is our creamy spam tetrazzini pasta.
Creamy spam tetrazzini pasta. Oh my goodness. Okay, we have talked about this. I don't know if I've ever had spam before. So, do you know what click is, Alex?
Yeah, so Click is kind of like I think that it's like the Canadian version of
Yes,
spam. Yeah.
that's what I was wondering because whenever I hear people talking about spam, I'm like, is that like click? So, are they similar?
Yeah, they're very similar. I think that maybe Click is not as salty or processed. I don't know,
Okay.
it's really weird, but they're pretty similar. It's like some type of like processed pork meat product in a
In a
can,
can.
Like
And
it's not anything.
it's a weird shaped can too, right?
Yeah, it's like this weird like rectangle gelatinous mass of meat that, we all kind of grew up with, just it sitting in our pantry,
Yeah.
that we would use as an emergency.
So I know then that I've only really encountered this kind of product twice, really. Well, in two areas of my life. So the first, definitely the click when this is so weird to me. I had forgotten this. When cucumbers were in season in our garden, like
Mhm.
one of the first things my parents would make is a cucumber and click sandwich. Like this was
Oh,
like a thing. I know, right? And then I remember the first time that I was in England, we were at some kind of like breakfasty dinery place and they had a breakfast with spam that I don't think I ordered, but I was like, "Oh, this is really a thing."
yeah. I mean, in some other countries, like I think down in Hawaii and around there, I mean, like ham and eggs or like spam and eggs is really a thing. And like
Yeah.
spam is really used widely in dishes.
Okay,
So
so we're laughing about it, but no, this is a serious thing and it's a good thing to have on hand in your pantry. Can you tell me before we jump in, like what exactly is it? Do you know?
I have no idea exactly, but I mean, according to Google, it's a salty processed canned pork and chicken product.
Oh.
And so that's what I'm going for. I mean, you fry it up, it smells like when you're frying bacon. So I would
Ooh.
assume that it's mainly pork product
So it
and can be
smells
quite
like bacon when
delicious.
you're frying it, and does it get like a crust on it?
Yeah, it becomes really nice and crispy, actually.
Oh, okay. So you are going to tell me how to use spam to make creamy spam tetrazzini. I'm excited. Go for it. Let's
Mhm.
start.
So tetrazzini pasta, if you've never made it before, it's like one of those classic American pasta dishes I had never heard of before. I mean, I've heard of carbonara and those types of dishes, but tetrazzini is actually something that I've made before, and I didn't know that it had a name.
Mm.
So it's really like it's like a one pan dish, super easy to make and super convenient to make. And especially with spam, since it's something that, canned meat is so readily available in your
Hmm.
pantry.
So how do you start this? What do you do first?
So first, you pick whichever type of like short pasta that you want. And it's about like 2 cups of raw pasta and you cook it till al dente.
So is it like you mean like rotini or penne, like that kind of thing?
Right, yeah. So I mean, I used rotini, but you can use penne, any type of like short, like bow tie pasta. I know that it's usually traditionally made with like spaghetti, tetrazzini,
Mm.
but I mean that was back in the 1900s, and so I mean like to make it convenient, I've I've used like a shorter pasta.
Okay, so two
And
cups of pasta cooked, and then what do
yeah.
you do?
And then you drain your pasta and you keep it on the side. And then in your large skillet or Dutch oven, you add a half a white onion that you diced, and then four garlic cloves that you minced, and a whole pound of cremini mushrooms that
Mm.
you half and slice. So it's very heavy on the mushroom.
Yeah, I like it.
Um,
I love mushrooms.
yeah. So, I mean, we always buy those big packs of mushrooms and it's hard to get through them. But I mean, like those big packs of mushrooms are usually like a pound and a half. So, I mean, it uses a good chunk of it.
Can I tell
So,
you, our mushrooms aren't sold like that. Our mushrooms are sold in 8-ounce packages, and they're wrapped in plastic wrap, which
oh,
makes
wow.
me crazy. How are they sold in Winnipeg?
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same. It's just you can use them. You can buy them in like a smaller pack, but more commonly they're sold in yeah, it's like a type of recyclable plastic container,
Oh.
wrapped in plastic.
You
It's
know,
about the same.
okay,
Uh,
so it's been so long since I've lived in Canada. My memory is that mushrooms used to be sold like loose in the
mhm,
produce section in a big bin with paper bags beside them, and
yeah.
you would just put them in the paper bags. They don't. I thought that that was like a Canadian thing, and that I came here and this like plastic wrap thing was an American thing. But you're saying the plastic wrap thing is there as well?
Yeah, they have both.
Oh.
You can still yeah, you can still pick them. Usually it's like the white button mushrooms
Hmm.
that are available with the paper bag.
Okay.
But like for those cremini mushrooms, I like
Uh.
to buy those because they just have like a little bit more flavor,
Hmm.
like a more richer, deeper flavor. And I really like to use those when I'm making like a dish that relies heavily on mushrooms.
Okay, so these are the brown little like baby Bella cremini mushrooms.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So and you halved and sliced them a whole pound.
Whole pound, and you cook them with the mushroom and the garlic, and you add a teaspoon of salt and a tablespoon of oregano, and then you cook it all down until the mushrooms are have released like most of their water content,
Hmm.
and it really like cooks down to like a quarter of the size that it was when you
Hmm.
started cooking
Hmm.
them. And once you're at that point, you just remove all of that into a bowl out of your skillet. And then so that way, you're not dirtying like a million pans. In the same skillet, after you've cooked your vegetables, you'll add your can of spam that you've diced into like a quarter-inch cubes, and then you'll place them in the same skillet with a little bit of olive oil. And as I said before, like it really cooks like bacon. It'll become like really nice and crispy.
Hmm.
And you just got to stir them around, make sure that like all the sides are nice and crispy.
Wait, I have a question. So, does spam stick to a pan badly? Like, should you be using a non-stick skillet here, or can you use whatever? It'll act like bacon. What is your advice?
Right. I mean, like it did stick for me a little bit, and I used like a non-stick skillet, and it did stick a little bit.
Hmm.
But that's okay because in the next step, we're going to deglaze the pan with butter, and it'll release most of the stuck-on bits. But
But so if it's stuck a little bit in the non-stick pan, if you used a regular like metal pan, would you expect like too much sticking? Maybe that people should steer clear of that and use the non-stick when cooking spam, or you don't think it matters?
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
I think like if you're cooking like on medium high heat with a little bit of olive oil, it'll you just have to let it cook well, like on each side. That way it'll crisp up. If you try to stir it too much,
Hmm.
then like because the spam is a little soft,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And so like if you don't let it cook long enough, you try to stir it, it will stick. So you just gotta like you just don't over stir
Oh.
maybe every like minute or two. That way it gets a good chance to crisp up.
And so then maybe I would think you would want to go with a like spatula lifter, like egg lifter kind of thing, and get right under it to flip it and preserve that crispiness. Is that what you would say when you're
Yeah,
flipping
for
it?
sure. I actually like using like wooden spoon,
Oh,
or it's like a wooden it's like got a like a flat edge on it.
okay, yeah.
And I just like really go at it to try to release it really
Uh-huh.
well, but
Uh-huh.
a spatula would work really well too.
Okay, great. Okay, so next step, you're adding butter to the browned bits of Spam left in the pan.
Yeah, so like once the spam is cooked, I remove it from the pan, from the skillet, and then I'll add the butter to the pan.
How much butter?
So it's about a quarter cup of unsalted butter. You can use salted butter too. I would just omit the teaspoon of butter that you added to the vegetables just so the dish is not overly salt. I don't really like to oversalt my dishes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
But so you put your butter in the pan, you turn it down the heat to low. That way the butter doesn't brown too fast. Once the butter has melted, you add a quarter cup of flour and you whisk that all together. And basically, you're creating a roux.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that will be the base of your cream sauce.
So while the butter is melting and while you're whisking the flour and you're also kind of scraping the bottom of the pan to get any of those brown Spam
Right.
bits up into
Yeah.
that as well. Okay, so you've got your
Hmm.
roux, butter and flour. Do you cook the roux for a little while or do you proceed pretty soon after?
I just kind of let it, heat up and simmer a little bit. I don't want to let it cook too much.
Mm-hmm,
I'm not really worried about cooking the flour to make like a proper roux.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
There's going to be so much more flavor like in the pan from the
mm-hmm,
spam and everything else. So I'm not too worried about that.
mm-hmm.
So once the roux mixture starts to heat up and simmer a little bit, I'll slowly add my milk while whisking nonstop because you don't want your roux to clump up or create any chunks. So you'll slowly add your milk. And this is where you can really customize it for your dietary needs. I mean, in our house, we have two types of milk. We have an almond milk,
Mm-hmm.
which is unsweetened,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I use as like my milk in the recipes.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got like a vanilla flavored cashew almond milk blend that we use for lattes. So I mean, like I've actually used almond milk in this recipe, and
Mm.
it works really well. But you're more than welcome to use regular milk or even half and half
Mm-hmm.
to make it even more creamier. So it's 2 cups of milk
Mm-hmm.
that I slowly add into the roux and whisk it in until it becomes nice and smooth, and you bring it to a simmer.
Okay.
And when it simmers, I'm going to add 4 ounces of cream cheese. You
Mm.
don't need to bring it to room temperature because it's going right
Right.
into the simmering sauce,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically like a bechamel at this point. And you're going to whisk in that half a brick of cream cheese right in there until it melts and becomes part of the sauce. Should only
Mm-hmm.
really take a few minutes. And then at this point, you can turn the heat right off of the pan, and you're basically just going to incorporate everything that you've pre-cooked in the previous steps. So you're going to add your cooked pasta, your spam, the mushrooms, all the vegetables, and then you're going to add a cup of frozen green peas, which,
Mm.
we always have that bag of frozen vegetables in the freezer, and it makes it super convenient and adds like those little bits of sweetness in there.
Yeah. So and
And
then okay, anything else? Peas
yeah, well, I
and
mean, at this point, you can serve it as is
uh-huh.
because it's basically ready to go on a weeknight when you're in a rush, and no need to, go to the next step because you can serve it as is. But in the recipe, I've actually added another step to put it in a casserole dish. So you can place it in like a 2-quart casserole dish.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's oval, but I mean, you can use a square one, whatever, and top it with a mixture of like a quarter cup panko crumbs, a quarter cup of grated Parmesan cheese, and a few tablespoons of freshly chopped parsley. And then you just sprinkle it evenly on the top and place it in a 400 Fahrenheit degree oven for 15 minutes about,
Mm-hmm.
just to crisp up the top,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's ready to serve. But I mean, this is a great dish to make in advance. Like if you're having people over, you can even have this dish ready to go, place it in the casserole dish. And before putting the topping on it, you can really just reserve it in the fridge
Mm-hmm.
and have it ready to go in the oven. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really great for that too.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I have a question about the process. Now,
obvious. I think this is obvious, but like if you wanted to speed this up, you could use multiple pans. And while the pasta's cooking, you could have your vegetables going in one pan and your spam in the other, and then make the sauce. You could speed it up if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you can you can do each step in a different pan and it would come together, I mean, even quicker. Just for my sake to not like dirty a million pans as I'm often accused of doing. I really just cook one thing at a time and then use the same pan for the sauce and then just add it all back into the sauce.
Well, I love this. I think it's delightful that you brought a spam recipe for me to learn about. And I've been, not all the recipes, but as we've been having the guests on to talk through the recipes, I have been making some of them and I am going to make this. I am so excited.
It's super delicious. I mean, like we were two of us at home, and we shamelessly ate the whole thing through the afternoon. We were just eating at it. It's pretty delicious and so addicting. So,
I love
but
it.
it normally serves like you can serve probably like 4 to maybe 6 people, depending on the serving time. But we ate it all, so it's that good.
So
For
is
sure.
this recipe going to be on your website, or is it already on your website?
Yeah, it's up and ready to go, and probably gonna load up like a quick little tutorial video for it, but it's up on our website.
Fantastic. So let people know where they can find you, your website, social media. Where's the best place, Alex?
FrenchKissCook.com on the website, and social media where we are on Facebook at French Kiss Cook, and we're also on Instagram at FrenchKiss.cook.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
I told you he had a unique recipe for us, and re-listening to that, I realized I do need to try it. I don't know how I haven't. I need to find out what the obsession with spam is all about. Now, like I said, as I was recording this, I was getting ready to leave for Savannah, but by the time you are listening to this, I will be back. And I do have some cooking planned for the week ahead. So in the actual test kitchen world, I have a few recipes that I've been working on that I'm ready to photograph. Some of them I'm going to be filming. Some need a final test now that I'm looking at this list. So this week, air fryer sausage and peppers, doing like a really yummy sausages and peppers you could like pile into a hoagie, that kind of thing. The idea being that we want the peppers and sausage to cook in the same amount of time. So we probably have to start one before the other. That kind of thing is what we're figuring out. And then I'm doing a recipe or like a how-to for how to cook chicken pieces on the stove, like in a pan. And by chicken pieces, I mean like diced chicken, like when you chop it up. I actually find it to be the case that when you cut up chicken first and then cook it, it can be much more tender than if you cook it whole. And I think it's because those little pieces need way less time to cook. And so no part of them is becoming overcooked before the middle is cooked through. Whereas when you have a chicken breast, the outer edges start to get tougher and drier before the middle is fully cooked. And so inevitably you end up with some of the chicken being a little bit drier than other parts, except if you do that slow grilled chicken that I was telling you about earlier. But that is a whole other story. So this is my method for perfect cubes of chicken that are tender and seasoned and beautiful. It is the way that I cook chicken when I chop it up first. And now I'm actually doing it as a recipe on the website. So that is being finished off this week. And also a really great recipe for asparagus stuffed chicken breasts. So I have another stuffed chicken breast recipe on the Cookful that people love. And somebody commented asking if they could use asparagus instead of the spinach. And I was like, I think so, but I'm going to find out for sure. And so I started working on that recipe and now it is ready. It's really nice. It's got a nice panko breadcrumb crust on the top that's nice and brown. There's like a Swiss and cream cheese filling drizzling with a little bit of lemon zest and the asparagus spears. And then when you slice it perpendicular to the spears, the slices are so pretty because you have these like green, almost like dots of asparagus through there. Really, really nice dish. Very easy, but very pretty, you know? So I am finishing that off, doing the video and the pictures this week. Okay, then what is going live on the sites this week? Each site has a new recipe going up. There is a pulled pork cooked in the oven going live on Cook the Story. And this is just because we have a Instant Pot and a slow cooker pulled pork recipe that are very popular. And I wanted to give people the options of doing it in another way if they don't have those appliances. So that is going live. And then on the Cookful, an easy ramen bowl. I make this for dinner like way too often, I think, really. It's like those little packets of ramen, and I don't always put the whole seasoning pack in there, although my daughter complains if I don't put the whole seasoning pack in there. She likes that salty stuff, right? But I do that normal packaged ramen, but I add some sesame oil and soy sauce if I'm skipping the seasoning packet to the water as it cooks. Often sliced mushrooms while the pasta's cooking in there too. Sometimes some spinach chopped up gets cooked in with the ramen, and then we do them like dinner bowls where you scoop the soup and noodles into your bowl, and then I have a whole bunch of different toppings there, and people add what they want to their bowls and customize their dinner. So that is a recipe going live this week as well. And then as to what I'm telling you about this week, I just realized I'm doing a grilled chicken thigh recipe from Cook the Story from a long time ago, and it's not actually how I cook grilled chicken thighs now. I'm not sure what to do about this. Well, I'm going to record it as it appears on Cook the Story because I don't yet have all of my testing and everything done for the new version, which I guess I would put on the Cookful so that they're not like competing with each other, or maybe I'll edit the old one. I'm not yet sure what I'm going to do, but this recipe works wonderfully. It's just a little bit different than what I've been doing. So I'm telling you about that this week. I am also, yes, that easy ramen bowl is on the list. There's a turkey meatloaf and some salmon burgers made with fresh salmon. They are so good. So lots of great things coming your way this week. If you want to make sure you don't miss it all, make sure that you are subscribed to this podcast. There are two ways to do this. You can go on your phone to cookthestory.com/ROTD, and then you will see across the top the different places that you can tap to subscribe. So it's like Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, and then you go and tap follow or subscribe there. Or on your phone, go to your favorite podcast app, whatever you like to listen to podcasts on, and search for Recipe of the Day. There you will find me. I want to say a big thank you to Alix from FrenchKissCook.com. And don't worry, I'm going to reach out and have him on again. We need to hear from Alix again soon. And I want to say a big thank you to you for listening. I'm Christine Pittman from CookTheStory.com, TheCookful.com, the all-new chicken cookbook, and from this podcast, Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great weekend. Let's get cooking.